just want to know what Yoshi's
You
eggs
weren't here
smell
for
like.
that. You weren't here for that either.
No, I was not.
That was a weird week.
But like,
Dude, I just
don't you
wanted
want
to
to know what
do
Yoshi's
so.
eggs smell like?
That was a-
Alright, whenever you're ready, Erik.
Whenever I'm ready.
Well, you're sitting in the start man seat, so
Of course,
obviously you're
shut
gonna
up.
start,
I
man.
would start. Thank you.
Oh,
You don't think they can hear that?
It has really good.
no, I can hear you. Yeah, because he's right beside you. That's an evidence. See? Okay.
Hi. Welcome to BakaTaka. I'm your host, Aaron. To my far right is
It's Eric.
the person in the middle who you haven't seen before.
Yes,
is our
I
new.
have.
Yeah, I guess they.
He hasn't-
I was on one episode.
Did
We
have,
didn't.
You didn't have
We didn't
cameras.
record it then. No,
Oh,
It was just visual. It was
it was just audio.
So yeah, you haven't been seen.
okay, fine. You haven't seen me before, but it's
He's the
Jaxon.
cool guy with the shades.
Yeah.
This is also kind of funny because I know Jaxon the best, and Eric knows Jaxon.
I work with Aaron, and I don't talk to Jackson at all.
Yeah, so this
But
is
we
a
went
good
to
cast.
Mexico that one time.
I mean,
We also went
Yeah.
shopping after that, and that's why you're here with us.
I'm glad.
Yeah. Chase saw us buy a bunch of stuff, and he's like,
Hold up,
"Those,"
the whole lore of you being here is because you ate in Mexico with them the last time?
and then bought a bunch
I'm
of
pretty sure they
manga.
just felt bad.
Yeah, he's the
They're like-
diversity hire.
They're like,
We needed more blind people.
everyone in this group went to that restaurant, and then they're like, he hasn't been on the show but one time. Let's just bring him on.
You're actually a third round pick, if that helps. you.
I know.
You actually are.
I'm pretty sure I'm only here because Jared declined.
No, it's because Brandon.
I don't know who Brandon is.
You do. Brandon.
I probably do, but
Pick up the mic.
I also can't think about it. Yeah, pick up the mic if you want to talk.
Yes, you do.
all right. So what are we gonna do
Okay,
today with
fair.
Jackson?
Well, I think Chase wants us to talk about all the anime and stuff we bought.
Yeah,
Hey,
but
Chase,
I
what do you
haven't.
want to talk about?
I haven't read any of it.
Yeah, I haven't read it.
So
I had a backlog and then bought more,
yeah,
Isn't that how it works?
and then started reading a real book,
a real book.
It's a light novel. That's not a real book.
That's not a real.
You know, it's almost like
It's like
a real
it,
book.
it doesn't have as many pictures.
It has a lot of words in it.
I actually did start one of. So we were talking about 40K the other day.
Did you actually pick up a 40K book?
I didn't pick up a book, but I started looking into the lore of it. If I wanted to actually
So-
dip my toe into it,
For reference, we were talking about this at work, and we're like, 40K, what do we do? Like, how do you get into it? Eric asked me, and I looked up, and Reddit was like, you just go to the wikis.
yo, straight up they said read the wikis, and I don't want to read a wiki. I want to read a book. After digging for like 20 minutes, he finally found a post that said you start with this one series that has 50 fucking novels in it.
Yeah.
And this is
Oh,
just to start
and
you
not
off.
only was it 50 novels, each one was 1,000 pages.
Yes.
Real quick, didn't Tolkien write before?
No.
No.
No. No.
I don't have it.
You are.
Way off.
Yeah.
You are way off base. That
He
is not a
died
Tolkien thing.
way before any of that.
But for this first series, it's just 50 novels, and it's only about the Space Marines. Not
Yeah.
even anything else. Just the Space Marines.
Yeah.
Lore runs deep, bro.
Yeah,
Lawrence D.
it runs very deep.
Just be like me. Accidentally click on a YouTube video.
I did accidentally click on a YouTube video
Dude,
about.
what do you want?
I did click a video about the YouTube 40K lore, and it's like the 40K lore explained in an hour.
Yeah, I think I've seen that video.
Yeah.
I don't think you can
I
get
watched
all of
it.
it in an hour.
Yeah, I
I
started.
did. So I did those videos, but it's like, that's only for one race, and I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, that's only one race. It's literally just like the Space Marines.
And
I
then if
watched
you do the
like
Space Marines, it's like that's just one faction.
of the Space Marines. This is only one legion of the Space Marines.
I watched like a 40-minute video and it was just about one guy who runs his own sect.
Was
of
it like the
Space
God? Was it like the
Marines.
God Emperor?
No, it was like one of the. There's like 12 disciples or something.
No.
Of
there's-
the God Emperor.
No. There's
children or
18.
whatever?
There's
Oh,
18
18,
children.
whatever.
There's 9 good, 9 bad.
There's
You know.
18 children, but there's like 100 legions.
yeah.
You know, and sometimes you
Space
get
wolves.
sometimes you get born on a rich planet. Sometimes you get born on a planet where the gas slowly kills you.
Yeah.
I mean,
He
that's,
just says,
that's to be understood in the galaxy, but we're only talking about the Space Marine human race. We're not
Yeah.
even talking about the
that's
other
just
factions
that's
of like.
the Space Marines, and then there's the Imperial Guard.
Yeah, I was gonna say
We're
there's.
just the normal humans.
But there's the Imperial Guard, but they get their weapons from the not Necrons, but the Mechanicus.
Mechanicus,
The
yeah.
Mechanicus make their weapons, but they keep the good weapons for themselves so they can hunt the Necrons, and the Necrons only exist because they wanted to kill the gods.
It's whack. Oh,
Aren't
and
they-
like, isn't like machines they just pray to now? They're like, we don't actually know how to make these anymore. We just kind
they
of
know,
like
they know how to make
no,
them.
like because like
Well-
the giant golems that they have, they're like, we
Well,
don't make these. They
they
just
do that.
exist still.
And they tomb dive the Necrons to steal their shit.
That's lit.
Yeah, it's some wild lore. I looked at a little
Yeah,
bit
and
of
then
it.
the orcs are just like, our machine works because I believe in it,
Yeah.
you know,
and it's red.
gotta throw a little bit of magic in there.
And then you got the dwarfs that are just like, yeah, let's just make some.
Are there
some
space
bomb,
dwarfs?
like- yeah. They just make artillery and live in the mountains.
Oh man, I thought
Space mountains.
because I know there's 40k or
This is-
Age of
so-
Sigmar.
So this is where we got confused because I've said there's 2. There's 40k, and then there's just Warhammer. That's like before 40k. It's
I
4
thought
years
it-
before.
I thought the
But-
difference was 40k and then there's Age of Sigmar. And Age of Sigmar is way more
Sigmar
like
what?
fantasy.
But there's also just so the the Total
Stop.
War Warhammer game explains it pretty well. It's the culture of everything kind of just thrown onto a planet, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So the Warhammer game explains that pretty well. Just like here's everything that kind of exists in the universe, just kind of like hanging out on a planet to kill each other.
That's whack.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember whenever you do like the chaos, whenever they go into like that kind of stuff and like lore videos, and you're just like, the elves were having so much mad sex that they made the goddess of love,
Yeah.
and then that now consumes their souls. That's what I'm saying. I didn't read
Well,
it. I
so they do
listened
that,
to
and
it.
then, like-
Sorry, Chase.
So
Where
then,
can I
like-
find this?
Just look up mad sex god
So that
Oh,
crazy
yeah,
crap
I'm not gonna
on
do
happens.
YouTube.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can answer that questions.
What the fuck?
So the elves
Warhammer.
So the elf society
Come on, man.
became so advanced that the only thing they could do was like pleasure themselves anymore. So they just became like masters of BDSM and stuff. And then basically they did so much of it that a god got born out of it, and that god just likes to eat their souls.
Is this
Straight up, there's a faction in the War and Total War Warhammer. There's a faction of BDSM elves that literally just go around and
Oh, it's mad.
cause
So,
charm.
I've
Oh, it's disgusting.
I've not watched any of the Hellraiser movies, the ones with a pinhead.
Yeah.
sure.
But isn't that like literally where the Xenobites came from? Like that's their whole thing. They're just masochists searching for weird forms of pleasure.
So those
like in their higher beings,
those
and basically
faction
gods
of
because
elves
of it.
actually look like Pinhead. Like the outfits they wear look like.
well, there's different factions. There's
What
some
the
there's some of
heck?
those. Then there's some other ones that are normalish.
And then there's like dark elves. You know the standard stuff.
Yeah.
Well, no, those
yeah.
are the elves that went even deeper into
Yeah.
it.
But there's more factions of elves.
So the thing is, they get their souls consumed when they die by the goddess, right, or the god. It's an
Just understand in Warhammer lore, everybody's
Everything
looking to
sucks.
please a god.
Yeah. So, but again, so the reason that they
Duly
do what they
noted.
do and they just torture people is because they're like, if we just torture enough people and give enough pleasure to that god, they won't take our soul. So that's why
Yeah.
they just do BDSM.
Well, sometimes there's like, well, you gotta travel with a lightning bear, or you know, sometimes we gotta sacrifice blood for the blood god. Sometimes
it
you gotta
happens.
purge a little heresy.
It is what it
Sometimes
is.
you
Oh,
gotta.
yeah, we love
Sometimes
heresy.
you gotta collect some bones.
Oh, I also love the fact that the god emperor was like, guys, I'm not a god.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, but you're God.
Yeah,
And
like,
he's like,
you're our god.
we're not
You're
a
a
god.
god to
Don't make a
me.
book about me. And they're like,
We'll make a book.
we already wrote a book.
We wrote several books about you.
Oh, we also have these. I mean, you kind of cloned yourself.
Yeah. Also, we've sent dudes out to the far reaches of the galaxy to, you know, cleanse some heresy. Make sure you're the god. You're their god now.
If it even slightly smells like heresy, we'll just burn the entire planet.
That's the best memes from Warhammer. It's just like you see a like a marine or a chaos warrior fully dressed up in their like power armor, and it's just them busting through a door. It's like smells like heresy in here. I love Warhammer lore.
gets
And-
crazy.
Well, then you got crazy races like the Zinch that just want to mind control you for fun. Yeah. The
I don't-
Skaven are just rats that just want to live in the city and then shoot chemical weapons at you.
That's just normal.
Yeah.
It's
pretty
pretty sure that's
wild.
DC.
I mean, so a lot of things get a lot of. You're not
he
wrong.
didn't deny.
Let's move on from Warhammer. I don't know much more.
I don't know
about Warhammer.
enough.
Because
I
I,
just know it's
tried,
a lot of
I
money.
tried dipping my toe. There's so much that
Did you read the wiki?
A little bit. It's one of those things you look at it and then you just start getting anxiety.
You see all the tabs it has, and then like all the blue text. When you like pick on one, you're like Horace Harrison. You click on it,
No,
and there's
I
like so much stuff that's highlighted.
No, I literally
hyperlinks.
started it, and then my Google window, the tabs started just getting smaller and smaller and smaller.
Because you kept opening hyperlinks.
Well, because you just kept like rabbit holing further.
Yeah.
But then you finally get to a page where the hyperlink is red and not blue or whatever, and you're just like, oh, I think I've been here before. And then you scroll through your tabs, you're like, oh, it's over here. So,
I can read.
yeah.
Is that kind of the thing where you're like, oh, in order to understand this, or like while you're reading a wiki page, it has like 40 different blue links, and you have to click on the blue link so you understand
Yeah.
the context of a sentence.
That's what the.
And then it's a whole new paragraph that has its own blue
Well,
links.
it references stuff from the thousands of books that are out there,
Yeah,
the
that's
random
what,
games. It's just,
that's what the Reddit articles told us.
it says read the wikis.
Yeah, just read the wikis.
All I
Read the
know-
Lexiconomicon.
Yeah, yeah. the Lexinomicon.
Oh, what was that? What was the quote? It was, "Hey, when you're reading it, just make sure to have your Lexinomicon next to you, just in case you
Yeah.
don't know something."
I don't know what the hell the Lexinomicon is.
It's just a book, that reference book. And when you're reading your novel,
But where
just
the-
bust it out.
Where did the Lexinomicon come from?
Well,
Who
obviously,
made that?
off the wiki. Ask the wiki. Go to the wiki and look for Lexiconomicon. I'm sure you'll find something.
I
I'm sure
hate
the
it.
God
Love
Emperor made it.
I
I just,
wrote it about him.
I just wanted to get into Warhammer lore because God Emperor himself, Henry Cavill's into it.
I don't know how he has time.
Same.
He also read all the Witcher books before he started playing The Witcher. Those are
Yeah.
a lot.
He also raids regularly in World of Warcraft.
Yeah, that's how he almost lost Superman as a
Yeah,
role.
because he wanted to raid instead of
It's like,
doing his
bros,
audition.
they just dropped a new expansion. I gotta go, boys.
Yeah, yeah, straight.
Listen, Superman's cool and all, but listen, I need
Raiding
that, I need
is
that
more
raid
important.
set. I need that raid
Raiding is
set.
more important. I mean, I get that. I feel that. I used to raid.
I never did. I wanted to. I really wanted to play it, but I was like $60, and I don't play video games. I don't.
It consumed my life for years, so I was one of the best in the world.
You guys recently got into it a little bit, or was that not you or
Get into what?
Warhammer or not
World of
Warhammer?
Warcraft?
World of Warcraft, because
Or
you
MMOs
guys
in
played for a
general.
little bit. Michael it
We literally, so
was like a month, and then they're like,
So
So I
the-
know you guys.
the new
get
expansion was
You guys
coming
get
out.
into it like sometimes, and I see you guys playing for a bit, but then it just goes back to League.
no. Here's what happened.
So, like,
so
it-
the new expansion's gonna come
Yeah.
out, the Rise of Dragons or whatever.
Yeah.
And then
I love dragons.
so my brother is constantly complaining, like, oh man, we only play like a few video games. So he's like, we're like, okay, a new expansion for World of Warcraft. Why don't you come play World of Warcraft with us? We get in there. He starts downloading add-ons, which is supposed to make the game like easier or
Yeah, of
whatever.
course.
And then he's like, there's too many things on my screen. And before he even does like one quest, he quits.
Does he not know how to make like a minimalistic UI?
Well, that's the thing. He downloaded things that put more things on his screen.
Well, his
and then
problem
he
is that
said
he has
there's
a
too many
minimalistic
things on
brain.
his
So-
screen.
I did that too, right? You have a bunch of other information that you need. Well, you don't need, but it helps
Yeah.
to be the
Yeah.
best in the world.
Because it
But
tells
you
you to dodge
you
the thing on
minimize
the floor.
it. You know you make it smaller, put it in a corner. You don't need tons and tons and tons of
No.
good
I
information.
mean, I just went in raw, and I was just like, I was just
Nice.
leveling up like just a rogue, because I was like, whatever, I'll just pick a class. I was like, you start out, it gives you like 4 abilities, and then it gives you more abilities as you level up, right? So you get into it. He just downloads all the things. Too much, brain can't handle, quits, and that's why we don't
Didn't-
really play new
Did you
video
ever
games.
like hardcore raid?
Do what?
Did you ever like hardcore raid? Like actually get into the end
I don't
game?
think my brother
Why did they
has gotten past like level 3.
I thought they
he's-
did.
Oh no, he played
Kyle was
classic
into
for a
it
bit.
for a while.
He played classic for a little bit. I don't know if he went like super hardcore into raiding. I know he got a character to max. I don't know how much farther it got after that. All I know is he's the guy who's like, why don't we play any video games? But every time you like try to get him to get into a new video game,
Well, he was playing
5
HOTS.
seconds in, quit.
Plays HOTS.
We were playing HOTS.
I played Heroes of the Storm a little bit.
It-
It's
It's fun. It's good.
I mean, it's different.
It
It's
has-
easy. So Blizzard is good at designing unique characters.
Oh yeah.
Very unique characters.
That's the thing. Blizzard is okay with having fun with their character creation.
Yeah.
Like you have Cho'Gall, which is 2 people playing
Oh, yeah.
the same person.
The
Deathwing, which is a huge, basically boss on the battlefield.
that Zerg guy that literally sits in the base. And his entire thing is just
Abathur.
Yeah.
He just summons the little locusts, and he
Yeah.
can clone his teammates and stuff like.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like they go crazy with the design. The only problem is, and they would be such a way bigger hit than like League, but League is so smooth, and I don't know what kind of black magic Riot has to make their game handle well, but like no other MOBA can do it, and that's why it's the most popular.
What do you mean?
Like-
Paragon is such a good game.
I played Paragon for a little bit. Game
Yep.
was ass.
We played Paragon for a little bit.
It
All
was
I know
not
is I
good.
picked
You played Paragon?
I picked the giant fish guy, and he was busted. You can just.
I played
Paragon was like realistic. It was like Unreal Engine 4 made.
Yeah.
and
It was
like
Well, I
like
mean, it
a,
was made
it
by
was like
Epic
a
Games.
behind
It
the
looked
shoulder 3D.
Yeah, it was like a
like
Gears
shooter.
MOBA.
It was pretty much
MOBA.
like
So
Smite.
weird.
Yeah, but
It was
they,
closer to Smite.
I like
a lot of
it.
their stuff copied things from, like, I played the robot guy who had 2 arms that did the Blitzcrank pull, but it was really
Oh.
short.
So I remember my problem with like that and Smite is like when you try to do like a 3-lane normal like MOBA, no one knows how to do it. Like you don't like League is like the only one where people actually like pick lanes and stay there. Because when I played Smite and I went to like the
So-
3 lanes, it's just like I'm gonna go where I want.
So with Smite, so League has the setup, top lane, jungle, mid lane, ADC, and support.
Yeah.
Smite has your top lane, middle lane, bottom lane, jungler, support jungler. So there's like,
I didn't know there was 2
Support
junglers.
so like there's
jungler?
this,
I didn't know there's support.
there's like the
junglers.
classic support. Where
Yeah.
He goes around and helps the jungler take camps, and then he'll just roam everywhere to
Really?
help kill.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because whenever I did it, I'd be like, I'm gonna go top, and I'll let everyone know that, and then I'd go top as Artemis, and the next thing I know, I just got like a Jormungandr with me, and I'm like, what are you
So
doing here, brother?
when we played, we did the that arena mode.
Oh, that was
where,
fun.
Where you just get 5 people. You just get the hardest nuking people
Tickets.
you can get, and you just blow each other up in the middle arena.
Dude,
that was
that's
the best
so.
game.
That's the. I think that's where Smite that and the 3 lane, the 1
Yeah.
lane 3.
Yeah.
Because that one,
Oh,
it's just like you can't not go the right
The
lane.
3v3s. They took 3v3s out of League. That's
Yeah.
They really are
we
down
used to play
bad after
3v3s
that.
a lot, but
It was so good. I
that
don't.
map was never balanced.
Okay,
It
it,
was
it
never
didn't
balanced.
matter. They had like unique items too,
Oh yeah,
and or at least they weren't
That was
unique,
before
but they
my
were
time.
items that they took
that
out
was
of the
a fun
game in
game.
the past.
Ben and I used to play it all the time, but
And Smite has 3v3s.
we'd always
too.
get the most angry when we played 3v3s. It was so unbalanced.
Was it always like 3 people, or did you get like a random with you? It would be like, would
I
you
mean,
Q3 or would you Q2
Well, we'd
and then
Q-
get a
we'd
random?
Q3. We'd Q3.
Try
Okay.
to Q3.
Well, like,
I mean, it was one of those things like you don't have 5 boys, right? So let's just go do some 3s.
yeah, that makes
So-
sense. 4th boy sound bad
Yeah.
right now.
But Smite did a really good job of having the alternative game modes be really fun.
Yeah.
The
'Cause-
arena mode's really good.
Because their 5v5 is actually kind of garbage.
It's
I don't
not.
enjoy playing it. It's not fun.
I didn't.
No, not the normal game mode.
Yeah.
I do like the camps that they have. Like that's
Yeah.
I think that's what's cool. Like I
So-
like about like that and HOTS is like the camps that you get
Yeah.
is way better than League. Cause I mean like League camps make sense. It's like but it's just like a mirrored jungle with the stuff you fight over. And it's like I get it, but like it's kind of fun when you take something and then it now helps you.
Yeah.
It's like it's
Oh,
more
like
interesting.
mercenaries.
Yeah.
Doesn't Dota have that?
I want to
Dota
play
do
Dota.
that?
I want
only-
to play Dota.
I couldn't get used to Dota's controls.
Oh, Dota
I heard it's
also
super
handles like
hard.
but
Mm.
you know, what was your-
Isn't it? I hear it's like really hard to play Dota.
It's super hard because you even have things like characters have turn radius. Because you know on League, when you
Turn
click the other
radius.
side of you, you immediately flip. But Dota, your character literally has to turn.
maybe
Ooh.
that's why Dota feels
Yeah.
so bad
Yeah.
to play.
I mean, it's more.
I don't click enough.
I don't know, I just.
It's just like an extra step.
Because like when I
So
played,
it
I
doesn't
played
feel as smooth.
I played Enigma, and one of Enigma's thing is he can instantly kill like a camp or a monster, and he'll spawn tiny little enigmas.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't. They don't just follow you. You have to like control them individually.
Oh.
So
boy.
like it starts turning into a little bit of like an RTS where you have to like drag and click to like select a group and then you move.
Oh,
It just felt weird.
just halfway and you're just playing what's it called?
StarCraft.
StarCraft.
Yeah.
let me just control my Zerg.
My brain's too small to play StarCraft.
I tried playing StarCraft. I got the gold in StarCraft.
That sounds like good.
Gold and Star. I mean,
It wasn't too bad. I played 10.
American servers though, right? I knew someone who
course.
was really good. I don't know what his rank was, but I know there was someone who was like supposedly good.
I played gold. It's just it didn't feel good to play because it's a 1v1 game.
How often does it update?
It updates all the time.
I guess it's a 1v1
Does
game
it?
if you're playing competitively. I like
Yeah.
to like when we played it, we just tried to get as many people as we could on the same map.
Mhm.
And then of course, if we ever actually tried playing the game, the only thing we could do is play Archon mode, which is 2 people controlling the same
That was
thing.
another thing Blizzard was good. I was making or letting the community make stupid fun game modes because there was a lot of fun ones in StarCraft 2.
Really?
Yeah, they had a lot of side fun modes. Warcraft 3 has the same thing where
Yep.
you just mod the
Blizzard
weirdest things in there.
Blizzard was really good with having their community pretty much able to program like a new game out of the game. That's how we got MOBAs.
Blizzard was really good at letting the side content always be better than the main game. Except
You're not
for
wrong.
Heroes of the Storm. Their main game was actually pretty fun.
Is there?
Because their main game was
I must
basically
say, I
just
guess
a bunch of
side-
side
I
content.
guess the side content for Overwatch would be.
It was way better than the main game.
All the games you could play, like the
Like,
3v3s.
The
After they
3v3
started-
game mode in Overwatch is really good.
Yeah, after they started
Remember
releasing
we-
all the side
Three
content,
snipers.
the ranked was just not fun to play anymore.
We did.
Wait.
Whenever we played, we did 3 snipers.
Well, we would just come up with stupid team comps. But the best part about the 3v3 game mode was like once you won, you couldn't use the same champions again.
Yeah.
So it implemented a little bit of strategy. You're like, we could guarantee a win if we just pick these 3 OP
they just put
champions. But then we
Roadhog
don't
and
have those 3 OP
Diva.
champions.
Yeah.
Tanks were also really good in that game. But once they implemented the one psychic guy, the old psychic guy, his like Sigma, yeah, okay, that's what his name
Sigma.
was, Sigma. Once they implemented him, it's literally just like every team just has that guy and 2 other tanks, and it's just like the game's not fun to play anymore.
Wasn't there a time when just like you just saw Doomfist running around everywhere?
I
'Cause
think
he was-
Doomfist
Doomfist
is still good,
Like he was just
isn't he?
I
I
have
think
no
Doomfist
clue.
is still top.
I hated him.
I don't know
playing him.
anybody in the
Too much-
Elo
too
we
much
were
movement.
around wasn't good at him, but
They moved Doomfist to a tank in 2 because he is more powerful. He can punch, stun through tanks' shields.
Ew.
Yeah, and him and Brigitte and
Bridget.
Yeah, whatever.
I think she does say it. Bridget.
Yeah.
Brigitte.
But it's basically like
She's a
there was-
baguette.
There was so many
I don't know.
characters that could just like overpower tanks, and they shouldn't be able to do that because
That's-
the
yeah.
point of a tank.
The game
Well,
kind of
I
got
just
ruined.
know. I saw videos of people playing Doomfist in like Overwatch 2, and he's just flying through the air and just killing
Yeah.
people. I'm
Couldn't-
just like, how's this?
Couldn't
is, like,
Sombra like hack you and then you couldn't use your abilities?
Yeah,
What
for a few
is-
seconds.
So like wouldn't
that was fair
but-
because she had an over.
I know, but
also
whenever she
nobody played
hacked
Sombra.
Reinhardt, he just couldn't use his shield.
Oh yeah, that's so she was so bad, but the only time people used her was to hack a Reinhardt.
Yeah.
So they had like 2 seconds to kill him, so they could break a point.
Yeah, it's just like let's just hack Reinhardt.
She just got
He's
people onto the
useless
point.
now.
But didn't they change something where like at first she couldn't hack him when he had his shield up.
I don't know.
But
I
then
thought
I think
they-
they changed it where she
I
could
think
hack.
That
him
would've
at
made
any
sense.
I
point.
think she could run behind him.
I think that's what it was. But I think
Oh, she can
She
hack
couldn't do it
through.
from through the shield. She had to run.
they had to
behind
change
him.
something to make.
But she could go invisible, so
Sombra
it
was
was like-
literally the worst character when she was released. That's all I remember.
She was fun though.
I didn't.
Her
play.
gun did pretty good.
She had that little
Uzi.
pea shooter SMG. Yeah. But yeah, Blizzard's pretty good at letting the community make side content for their game. Because Warcraft 3 people still make mods for the base game for side content.
Oh, like for the original.
Yeah,
Warcraft
the original
3?
Warcraft 3, like Reign of Chaos.
I was
and
gonna
First
say,
Dawn.
I know the Warcraft 3 Reforged did not go over very well.
Yeah, garbage game, and then garbage attitude about it. So,
I was gonna say,
but Blizzard's
good.
been doing a lot of that lately, especially with Diablo Immortal. If you've read anything about that.
boy.
BakaTaka!
Yep. I heard about that collar thing. I think I can prove it. You know it's true. You can't hide from me. You can't hide from me.
Told me,
So
and I was
collective
not happy
groan from
about
the
hearing it.
entire
So
room.
I talked about it last episode, but the Bellulor put a video that said it's about 106 grand to max one character,
Is
which
that
is
it?
which is a 5/5 rarity gem to the max.
It's more money than I've ever seen in my life.
Some mad lad did it and got a max gem. Turns out there's a new whale mechanic beyond that where you can put 5 more max gems in, so you can have
Make the super max gem.
So it's about 500 grand to max a character now. Yeah, it's wild.
What does that man get his money back?
He doesn't.
So I mean,
He just
it
threw
could
it
be
into
some
the
Saudi
void.
prince or something. There, when you play gacha games, there's always some Saudi whale. You know,
That's true.
just spending money.
I
And then,
wish.
and like, there's an interview with Shaq where he was just like, "Yeah, I'm spending like $2,000 a day on phone games.
Why?
Why not? You got money.
He's
Shaq.
got, yeah, he's got the money. yeah.
Shaq, Papa Shaq over here.
If you had the money,
enjoying Papa Gun.
it's like you buying manga, but he's spending $2,000 or whatever on mobile games.
I guess that's fair. I guess the difference is, you know,
You
mine's
just tweak the
physical.
numbers a little bit.
Shaq is actively playing it, and we're just buying for a backlog.
Yeah, I'll eventually.
I'm
read
getting
that.
to
I'll,
it.
I'll read that someday.
I'll get to it eventually.
It's still there.
That's why I bought Berserk.
Which one? What? That's the first
Dude,
one?
Berserk.
So I just got the first 3 volumes, right? And I only
You mean
got,
the first 3 volumes?
Yeah, the very first 3 individual volumes, not the
Oh,
It's like
not
you
the
mean
the
omnibus.
normal books,
Not the
Okay,
omnibus.
not
he
the
has the
collection.
omnibus.
Yeah.
I got the first one.
Yeah.
Still haven't opened
But
it.
I
yet.
only,
But I will.
The 12.
I only got it because the guy's assistant said he wants to continue the Berserk series and actually put an end to it. Yeah, he's
That's awesome.
the lead assistant finally came out and said, "Yeah, I want to finish the series."
That's awesome.
So when I saw that, I was like,
Use a mic.
maybe he has one.
Yeah, it's
Behind him.
It's not hooked up right
But when I saw that, I was like, oh, maybe I'll actually start
Read it.
slowly collecting Berserk.
Yeah. I never Berserk because is it grim fantasy? Is what
It's
it's
dark fantasy.
dark
It's like
fantasy.
I was gonna
because
say
grim
Gothic.
fantasy's Warhammer.
I don't think it's Gothic.
Yeah. Gothic isn't.
Gothic.
I think Gothic is a
Gothic's
different
more
thing.
like
I think that's more
Gothic's
like,
like Victorian
vampires
era.
and stuff. Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Sure enough.
Yeah, Gothic's more.
I was gonna say
I
it's
was-
very
there's so-
much
there's so
my
many, like,
speed.
niche things.
I just need to start reading it, and I'm
would
pretty
like
sure
steampunk
I'll really like it.
kind of fall under
Gothic.
Gothic.
Yeah, but I think Gothic might not encompass steampunk
Right.
always
But
because
it's like the same idea because it's like Victorian era.
yeah, I think Gothic
just
can
feature
have
it up.
steampunk, but steampunk
Yeah.
is always Gothic,
Okay, yeah.
and like it's kind of like time
But
period.
Warhammer and fantasy is grim, and then
Berserk
Berserk
is-
is just dark. Because it's basically just grotesque undead and a dude with a giant sword. Because there's no real like magic.
I thought there was demons.
There's demons.
Yeah.
But is there like magic?
I thought there was because there's elves. If you have elves, you got magic.
I don't
right?
know.
You can't,
If there's
you can't,
elves,
you can't
there's
bring elves.
magic.
You can't
I
bring
mean,
elves
come
into
on.
reality
There's,
and
like-
not have magic.
It's like a bunch of monstrosities and stuff. There's got to be a little bit.
Well, I
of
mean,
magic.
then you have like the Golden Age arc where he's just running around on a battlefield killing people.
Yeah,
But it's like an actual like medieval battle. I don't remember.
That's
the
awkward.
I don't remember there's like magic in
But
it. or
that's
not.
cool though. You
I'm
don't
not-
have to have.
I'm
ma-
not saying
maybe-
it's not cool. I just don't know.
There's
if
like gods and
So
stuff.
that's
isn't
like the
there?
thing,
I guess
sometimes,
that's not
like-
ma-
sometimes they're like magic's there, but only 4 people can use it. And you're like, well, that's lame.
I feel like if there's gods and demons, there's at least a little bit of like ritualistic magic. There has to be.
Yeah, let me just cut myself real quick and use my blood to summon a god or a demon. Usually demons, not gods. I feel like there is. I haven't read it. Can we get a fact check on that? Is there magic in
Look up is magic
Berserk?
in
Working on it.
Berserk?
Magic Berserk? Berserk magic?
How much magic is in
Does
Berserk?
Berserk is
'Cause I
magic?
feel like
Or does it play like a primary role?
because if it's fantasy, I guess Lord of the Rings.
'Cause fantasy
Lord
can
of the
also-
Rings has
I know it
magic.
starts out with him in a
But fantasy can
mercenary
also
group.
just encompass,
like
creatures.
yeah.
Magic
yeah.
in the Berserk universe is cast generally by witches and wizards. Besides,
Oh, yeah,
these,
there is
elves
witches.
can also cast magic. Magic
Wow,
is
way to
used
bring
for
that up
manipulation of the spiritual realm
forgot.
through
Obviously, I haven't
OD,
read it.
which lays inside spirits and souls.
There is.
So there's it's a little
Does
bit.
fantasy have to have?
Fantasy doesn't have to have.
Fantasy
No,
doesn't
'cause I
have
guess
to
you
have
could,
magic.
but because usually they preface with
fantasy?
high fantasy.
Yeah.
Because high fantasy is usually just
Like-
like medieval times.
There can still be
Yeah.
like mythical.
And then there's like fantasy, which is just usually like races that are special.
It's like, hey, there's some
stuff.
elves and goblins here.
Yeah,
there
and
can
then
still
there's
be,
like
mythical beasts and
fantasy,
stuff.
like
Yeah.
traditional fantasy.
I think that's
which is
called
like,
high fantasy.
No,
when you
high
have, like,
fantasy.
magic
I
and
thought
stuff.
high fantasy was just
I
like.
thought high fantasy was dragons and like high magics.
Was it? What's high fantasy?
Like fantasy is just
checking
like having dragons and mythological beings, like just any kind of like goblins, elves, that kind of stuff. I feel like high
I thought
fantasy is when
you
everything's
smoked a
super
little bit and you started reading a
magical.
book.
Gotcha.
Shut up.
Hit us
High
with it.
fantasy or epic fantasy is a subgenre of fantasy defined by the epic nature of its setting or by the epic stature of its characters, themes, or plot.
So it's just like extravagant.
it's just just
like
a big
really-
story.
It's like
High
really out
fantasy stories occur in a non-Earth or secondary world, while
No
low
shit.
fantasy stories take place on Earth or in a primary world very similar to it.
So
Oh.
kind of.
So high fantasy.
Because
just means
if it's similar
like a
to Earth,
different
it would
world.
have less magic.
Who's even writing fantasy stories about Earth anymore?
Well, I mean, I think it says low fantasy. It says Earth or some Earth similar.
Yeah, it's
So,
like
there's,
Earth
like-
adjacent.
Yeah.
Basically-
Okay, so it's just like if I'm going to write a story that's loosely based on Japan, but it's not actually Japan.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
I
like-
think that kind of
like-
counts.
I was gonna say
it's
like
just
Game of
medieval
Thrones,
times.
but they have like ice creatures.
I think
Game
that
of
was
Thrones is high fantasy.
Okay, I don't know much
That's high
about Game
fantasy.
of Thrones besides they.
would be low fantasy.
I know it's high.
I was gonna say,
Yeah,
but,
I'm agreeing with you.
but
Game
you
of
can
Thrones is
have
high
like
fantasy.
you can
What's
just
an
have like
example
a
of
fan.
fantasy?
You can make up your
Your
own
mom.
world. It's
I'm
just
sorry.
not. It doesn't
tired.
stray too far from Earth. Like so,
Because
it,
like
it would
I'm
be
trying
more
to think
realistic.
of like
I
things
guess.
that I would.
So like Knights of the Round Table kind of stuff, like Arthurian legends, that would be like low fantasy.
That has a
because
lot
it takes
of
place on Earth.
I guess.
So
it
would
kinda
like
delves into high
Lovecraftian stuff
fantasy
then be
too.
just fantasy because that's Earth?
low fantasy, but that
Yeah, I would say because of the epicness though of like the stories and monsters, I guess, and like
Be
the
high
fact that there's
fantasy.
otherworldly Cthulhu, whatever.
Right, but it's all
It
about
gets
like
a little-
Don't they have
investigating.
like alternate dimensions too, and that's too.
I think that brings it a little bit more high fantasy.
But
at
but
a
it's just
core,
like-
I have a
Yeah.
manga.
maybe. Here we go.
So, according to sources, low fantasy generally is characterized by stories where our own historical ordinary world plays a primary role in the storytelling. Notable
So-
examples include the Harry Potter series, Pan's Labyrinth, Spirited Away, and Conan the Barbarian.
Sounds like we're
But
shifting
then
the
what about,
goalpost.
does Lovecraft fall into that? Because
Yojo Senki.
I would say Lovecraft does.
It is Earth.
Well, Yojo Senki it's an alternate. It's not Earth.
Fantasy. But they also have like magic and stuff.
But then
though.
Valkyria Chronicles, the games would be.
I don't think magic's. It's just the setting is Earth
Yeah, Yojo,
and time period.
Yojo Senki is a
Alternate.
isekai because it's also if it was Earth, it'd be a science fiction because there's time travel in it. If it was our actual Earth, because it's during what like fake World War II, World War I
It's
setting.
World War I, World War II.
Yeah.
Wait, it's not time.
science fiction.
There's no time travel.
Well, it
in
depends. Is it magical or is it scientific?
That's what I'm saying. It's an isekai.
Yeah,
Is
but
it
there's no time
scientific
travel.
or-
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
more
Is that
mics
it would
back
be-
here.
It would be if it was.
Is it scientific time traveling or is it
There's
magical?
zero time travel.
I've
I
never
don't know why
I don't
Chase is
even-
bringing
I
up
don't even
time
know what
travel.
it is.
What I'm saying. That's the whole point of it. I'm saying it's not. I'm saying it is not a low fantasy because it doesn't take place on Earth. It's an isekai because if it did, it would be time travel because they're going literally back and
you're
they
saying
would
it's
be
not.
going back in time to that point
No, it's
in
an
time.
isekai.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Not
saying.
Earth,
Yeah.
George.
That's
We're-
what
we're
I'm
responding
saying.
to
He's
George.
it's
Okay,
basically imagine all the like titles.
You're right.
That's
I'm misremembering. Yeah, it's literally a
What is
different
this?
world that he gets
Yeah,
reincarnated.
but it's
Okay.
essentially
what
it's
is this?
essentially the Rhineland
Yes.
of Europe.
Is this the Tanya?
I was
Yeah, Saga Tanya.
misremembering
Okay,
the
you
show.
guys
That's on
say
me.
the Japanese
Yeah.
name, and I'm like, I don't know what that
isn't that like a old?
It's really good. You should read it.
I want
Read
to.
it.
I can never find the first novel of it like anywhere.
Yeah, you gotta get it.
I'd
like,
probably
on
have to
Kindle.
get it offline or just get an ebook of it.
Yeah, just get a Kindle.
But I was like,
just get a Kindle.
Isn't it like a? I can't.
We look at pictures.
Ignore,
We sit next to each
ignore
other and
the
look at
fact that I
pictures. They
have
do
light
have 'em
novels
and
in my.
smile.
So with Tanya the Evil, the anime is different from the light novel, and the manga is different from both.
That's
I hate
awkward.
when they. I actually hate when they
Yeah.
do that.
So it's kind of the same story, but they all tell it differently. The novel's the best.
I like when you're like looking
That's
to
a lot of
find a
reading.
manga and you're like, oh, this is a nice series. I'll see like if it has a manga because like they didn't finish or something. And then you look it up and it's like there's 17 of them and you're like, and then you have to go to Reddit and they're like, well, this one tells a really good story. This one's a similar story. This one's a lot of ecchi stuff. And I'm like,
I've
I know which
actually-
one I'm reading.
Ecchi?
Ecchi, sorry.
I've actually never
I'm
been
sorry.
the kind
I'm
of.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Keep apologizing.
I'm
Aaron. It's not
sorry.
enough.
Come say.
I've actually never been the kind of
How do you-
guy. I've always hated it when they're like when there's a movie based on a book and they're like, well, this is nothing like the books, and they, like it takes liberties or whatever. I've always like hated that until I started reading books. Before I started reading
It's never gonna
watching
be
the
the
shows,
same.
it will never be the same, and you can fit so much more into the books than the
I think
shows,
the only-
which
Oh,
is
yeah.
fair. But like
That's why I'm reading
there
Grimgar right
are
now.
there are just shows that I'm just like, okay, well they took that out, they changed that for no for seemingly no reason. It's like, but why?
So the only time that happened to me where I wanted to go back and read the book because everybody said it was better wasn't an anime. It was Ender's Game.
I heard Ender because the movie was all right, but
The movie was good, but everyone was like, if you really want like the full scope of it and like something really good, the book.
I was gonna say I felt like Ender's Game needed another movie to actually make sense.
It needed like 2 more.
Yeah, but
Need
what
a
did I
lot
read?
more.
I read. What I read?
What I read,
What I
mama?
read, ma? Tales of Earthsea. Because I watched the movie.
Oh, yeah.
And I actually thought the movie was alright. Like I didn't think it was a great Ghibli film, but I thought it was alright. But the book, the first book, because that's like the 4th book in this series.
Mhm.
They're like, hey, listen, we're gonna make a movie about Tales of Earthsea. It's like, okay, which one? There's like 6 of them, like Ursula Le Guin. Start at the 5th. It's like genius. Why did I think about that?
Just read the wiki.
Listen,
yeah, just read the wiki.
Just
Then
read the
you,
wiki.
then you can watch the movie and understand what's happening to
Yeah.
Sparrowhawk.
Yeah.
Good old Sparrowhawk.
who's this guy again?
Yeah. Yeah, you have to look at the wiki. Bust out the Luxonomicon. It's gonna sit right there on your little side table. He killed that one guy 13 chapters ago.
I love having to sift through side content in order to understand what's going on.
Yeah, welcome to like reading.
Yeah.
You can read about manga as itself contained. Comics
Well-
there's like 50 years and nothing's different.
Well, that's the thing with anime is they make anime now to sell the mangas and the light novels. So you,
You make money that way.
yeah, but they need to go back. What are you babbling about over there?
They've been giggling.
That's how anime always was. It's either to sell the manga or the toys.
Yeah, but there's
They've
so
been
much of
giggling
it now.
back there the
Well,
entire
yes,
time.
it's
There's
much more
so
prevalent
much.
now.
Welcome to the
Because
back
there's a whole
row.
much more Zoomers that buy it now than their
Backseat
basement beer and
gamers.
otakus back in the 80s and 90s.
I was gonna say,
It's
I
because
st-
capitalism
I do-
is a plague.
Because of Coom.
I do, to be fair,
Because of the coom.
the
Because
way
of the coom?
It's the coomers.
I'm cooming.
It's the
Oh.
coomers doing this to us.
help
Well,
me,
that degenerated.
Yeah.
help me, Chase.
Are they wrong though?
They're not wrong.
Are they wrong?
They aren't. To be fair, there's
I've seen the stuff Aaron buys.
There's
We're
a-
not wrong.
there's like a 50 or maybe 75% chance that what you pull off of a shelf will have a naked girl in it.
Like, no joke, I was looking at the reviews for DNF Duel, and literally, like, the 3rd one down on Steam was just, I love hentai. And I'm like, what does this have to do with DNF Duel? But it's the Coomers that are ruining everything.
Honestly, I don't
But there's the
understand.
funny ones at least.
I don't understand how so many of those games
At least
just
they know their stuff.
and you know it works because there's like 5 million games on Steam where it's just like solve a puzzle, get to see a naked anime girl, and it's like who pays money for this? And then you go look at the reviews and it's like I have 20 hours on this game and his only review is I didn't know my friends could see my active like games I was
That's the
playing.
best. My best is when it's like 60,000 hours and you're like, it was alright.
It was
Not enough
okay.
titties. It's
Yeah.
like, what?
I would not recommend this game.
Those were funny at first until you realize it's just.
Until you realize that's an actual person who spent money on that
Well,
product.
sometimes yes. 90% of the time, no. It's people just trying to get internet
Giggles.
points with it. Yeah,
I'm
just,
okay with
just get a
that.
laugh out of it.
You know,
I'm
that-
still
that-
okay with
you
that.
know, that's fair.
I got a raffle.
But there are people
20 hours.
Okay, so like
Guys, it just passed the
some
time I
games,
could
are like-
return it.
so there's some games like Black Desert and Albion where you see somebody that has like 15,000 hours and you're like, holy shit, and it's like a legitimate review. Yeah, I play Black Desert. I relapsed with that game.
No.
Yeah.
Isn't that because that it has a lot of custom ability.
I haven't relapsed with it, but I have relapses with it.
Okay.
We were Jeff's like, I'm gonna have to come on and have a whole talk.
It's one of those games like if I just
we're trying to
if I install it, it's over. Like
It's-
I'll play it for a week straight.
It's a MOBA. It's
Korean.
Korean MOBA.
So all it is you just grind. You don't stop grinding. If you stop grinding, you're last.
so it's like your second so it's like a second job. That's kind of what it was like. That is kind of a few
You got to
things,
supplement your grind with real money.
you know, to just give it that little boost.
You got me throwing up in my mouth over here. What's going on?
But if you stop, you're last.
What happens
If you're not
multiple of
first.
your friends stop?
Well, you're all last.
Can't all be last. Only one person can be last.
Yeah, you can.
Everyone who's not first is
Mine
last,
would've
Aaron.
I don't think he was ever first.
I was never first.
How high?
In what?
How high up on? Like, is there a leaderboard? There has to be a leaderboard.
No, there's no leaderboard.
It's not like
It's personal.
It's not like
That's how he felt.
It's
Yeah.
not. Oh,
His
okay. I thought it
personal
was like
feelings felt
I
like
thought
he
it
was
would be like
last.
Diablo, where
No,
they have like a
no.
world leaderboard. Or
No, the
something.
thing with Korean games is it's all just a big jerk off contest. You're all just, there's no leaderboard to be number one.
So it's like the thing where you have to go to a message board and you're like, well, I have.
You're all just smack talking each other on some random board somewhere. It's like, no, I'm number one. No, I saw this
Okay,
player.
I can
He's
get
number
into
one.
that,
No,
but
this guy was
the
number one because
leaderboard
he
part,
beat
I
this
can't get
person.
into.
But it's like, he only does it because he plays this class and he doesn't do it this way. It's just like, what?
He's using a macro. Everyone knows.
I
he's cheating.
miss old smack talk on the internet.
This person has
I
4
like how you
people
say you
playing his
miss-
account.
I miss it, dude. Like going into
All
a Modern
those-
Warfare 2 lobby
We can't.
as like an
you
11-year-old.
You asked
You
us
should
what words
ask.
you can't say.
You should ask Eric about
Some-
the Diablo 2 smack way back in the day.
No, some of those
My
old,
dad would even tell you about Diablo 2 smack back in
The
the day.
old-
He would everyone had the old-timey internet smack talk.
The old
Everybody.
archived forums from World of Warcraft had some smack talk into it. With people just arguing with community managers and top guilds and other players for no reason.
If you can argue about something, you did.
Yeah, I guess this is not my. I played Nintendo growing up, so it's just like, it's like Tandy Boy. It's like, man, the biggest beef was like I lost
Yep.
in Mario Kart, and the guy who beat me was the guy sitting next to me. So I just
Yeah, I was gonna
I'd be
say
mad at
anyone
him.
you talked to was also in the same room.
Yeah, I'd be like, come on, man.
When they put Mario
Did you get
Kart on
that
the
blue
DS,
shell?
and
Oh, yeah.
you started playing with some of those real like grinders, you get some of those psycho Japanese people that are just drifting off of you and snaking around. You're just like, this isn't fun.
Ultra shortcuts.
Yeah.
I never had a problem with that. I didn't really play online, I guess, enough.
This was just bull.
You had a world record for a little bit, didn't you, Aaron?
Mario Kart 7. on
Didn't you
the
find
DS.
like you just found
No,
something, right?
I was doing like the speed stuff, and I found like the guy who did it, and I was like, I'll just do what he did. I just copied
But
it until I
better.
perfected it. Like 3
That's
days.
how speedrunning happens.
Yeah,
That is, you did do
the
it.
course was the worst.
You were
though.
part
You
of the
did good,
speed
son.
run.
I was, but like, I don't think I was like ever actually put on anything or anything. I think it was like I was the top, and then like that thing disappeared.
Wait,
I mean-
which game was it?
Mario Kart 7 on the DS.
I mean,
Oh,
if
yeah.
you're looking for
doesn't
like,
that, doesn't
Sorry.
that give you like a? But that makes your Ghost like the one everyone races, right?
Well, I mean, they could have beat me after that until they patched it.
yeah.
Because that was
I
like
was, like,
right when
what-
the game came out, right?
No,
Like it was
like
pretty
a few
early.
months.
But that's what
It
I'm saying.
was a few months.
For that short moment in
Okay.
time,
And
there's
they patched it
some
not too far after that.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like, yeah.
for that short moment in time, there's some dude in his living room
Trying to beat
watching
me.
you outrace him.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah, it always
Yeah.
pissed me off when it was over like Toadette, and I was like, I'm not losing to Toadette. Not Toadette, not here, not now.
And then he probably just got beat by some Japanese teenager.
Well, I beat some Japanese teenagers.
yeah,
I get
but then he
that.
probably just got beat
And
by
then
another
another
Well, it's okay. I was
Japanese teenager.
also when that came out. What year did that come out?
No. Mario Kart 7 3DS.
To,
No, wait, Aaron was 6.
I was about to say 11. I was 10. I was 10 when that happened.
Do they just take like the time trial times off the game
It
and put it
came
on,
out
like, the speedrun
December
leaderboard?
1st, 2011.
December 1st. I was turning 11 in 5 days.
Because I'm pretty sure in Mario Kart, isn't a lot of the like
I think
speed
they
run
did,
records
but
in the
I
actual
looked
game?
it up one time and I couldn't find.
So
my
does
name
like
anywhere.
speedrun.com
know.
take like the leaderboards from like in game and use that, or do you have to submit a time to them?
I think you would have to submit.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
submit because I
What if
wasn't
there was
on it.
What if there was somebody pretending to be you? Well, no, but that'd be funny if just like 10-year-old
no, my
Aaron
name
or
was
whatever
on
it
there.
was just.
People get caught cheating all
Well,
the
yeah,
time.
but
in
it's still
speedruns.
you who did it.
I wouldn't care.
He was 11
I know
at the
you
time.
would.
I was turning 11 at the time. I was probably
Yeah,
actually
that's
11. when I
He wasn't
finished
even
it.
a tween yet.
Yeah, I beat some Asian man.
He was
Teenager.
Asian though.
At
least in name.
The leaderboards were a lot of like white and then red dots.
It's like, wait a minute.
I was like, I don't know what's happening here.
My game is glitched. I can't read any of this.
Yeah, it's different language. Someone Google Translate this.
Is Google Translate even around then?
Nope.
When?
I had
When
to
did
write
Google
it.
Translate come out?
I'm gonna look it up. I got
Yeah.
it.
It probably was, but I didn't have like.
I'm gonna guess it came out in 2008,
I don't remember
2007.
Google Translate
No.
in high school.
maybe 2012. I know. I'm just guessing 2 dates. If it's one of those dates, then
Google
Chase.
Translate first launched in April 2006. Yeah,
What?
but I
Wait.
mean I feel like it's kind of the same thing as Netflix being around in '97
I was gonna say,
or whatever.
They were still
but I
like
thought I
DVD
remember
still.
like
Well, that
Google
was, like,
Translate being
before
around for a
DVDs.
long
It was
time.
like, we just exist.
At least since I could use the internet.
for the Netflix coming out, was that before they did the mail thing with you?
They weren't a streaming service.
they certainly weren't streaming. I'll tell you
Yeah.
that. I don't know.
Like, did they
what
start
they
with
did
the
at the
mailing
very
thing?
I was about to say, wasn't
beginning.
it basically Redbox?
No, because like at the time it was like GameFly and Netflix. Because
That's it.
GameFly did it with games and Netflix did it with movies.
Redbox
You had to go to Blockbuster to actually.
Redbox is where you go to like Walmart.
CVS,
Yeah.
Walmart's, and they're like, "Hey, you want to buy this?
Yeah.
Make sure you bring it back."
So founded August 29, 1997. It says that they were a video rental company, like immediately. So I don't know if that means they were mailing out DVDs, but
Because I'm pretty
Video
sure they started
rental.
with the
I'm pretty
mailing
sure that
service.
means you're giving people.
yeah, they
DVDs.
definitely.
No,
started-
no, they weren't giving them out. They were just.
Because I
You had to show up.
Well,
And watch
yeah.
them.
They weren't giving them out. They were renting
97?
them.
Yeah, they weren't renting them. You had
So
to
would it
show
have
up to
been
their like
would have been
headquarters, watch it
VHS
there, and
then,
then go home.
But I wonder
It's
if
like a movie
maybe
theater.
as like video rental.
I just know Netflix didn't have any brick and mortar, right? So
Yeah.
it all had to be mailed.
Yeah.
I don't think
trying to look
Netflix
it up.
ever had a
Maybe it was
place.
like Sears. It was like a catalog.
No, I'm pretty sure that's that's the same thing GameFly was. You go to like GameStop and get like a catalog.
Yeah,
and,
maybe
like,
that's how they did it.
let me figure out the number that I have to put in so I can get my order.
And then you have to trust the mailing system.
And you get it, it's like it's broken. You're like, what do I do with this?
And then you tell them it's broken. They're like, you broke it, didn't you? Are you
Oh.
going
That's what I wanted to do.
to
Go ahead.
pay us for the game?
Yeah,
No,
go ahead and pay up. I know I'm asking 3 times the price of the actual game, but you can just.
No, I'm not saying no. My mom's credit card. No.
That's the worst with Blockbuster too, because they would charge you all the late fees, and on top of it, you gotta buy the game
I
too.
don't think I ever actually used
Really?
like rental services.
I
Ever.
Blockbuster has some weird fees. Yeah.
the rewind fee.
So
Rewind your movies.
I'm gonna blast through some stuff here. First of all, one of the guys, Randolph, admired Amazon.com. So Amazon.com is one of the reasons Netflix exists, apparently, because of the whole idea.
Was it
of
when
what they
Amazon
did.
was just books?
Yeah, yeah. This was early.
Amazon was just books.
Wanted to find a large category of portable items to sell over the internet using a similar model. Hastings and Randolph, the 2 guys who
Yeah.
started Netflix, considered and rejected selling and renting VHS tapes as too expensive to stock and too delicate to ship.
Stupid
When they heard about
VHS.
DVDs, first introduced in the United States on March 24th, 1997, Dad's birthday, the year I was born, interesting, they tested the concept of selling or renting
Coincidence?
DVDs by mail. Compact disc to Hastings House in Santa Cruz. But yeah, so
He
they
said it was
started
his
with
dad's birthday
DVDs in
and the year he was
'97.
born.
Yeah, he was born 5 days before it started too.
When did The Matrix come out?
That's all I'm saying.
Oh, I guess that does make sense then. Yeah, that the timing lines
Alright.
up. So there you
Well,
go.
That's good to know.
I never used any.
Yeah, I was definitely. What do you say? Keep going.
You wanna
I
keep
recently
going?
played Half-Life, which is pretty interesting for a
Half-Life
game
2?
in 19. No, just Half-Life. No,
Oh. Hey, that's our show.
I think that's a keep going.
I've been your host, Aaron, to my far right,
Eric.
and our new guest, not a guest,
I'm not
now
new.
a new person.
I'm not new,
Is he
but it's a new
permanent?
face.
Chase, is he permanent?
Jaxon.
This
I'm
is
not-
his test.
I'm not
this is your
permanent.
test.
Depends on how many views this video gets.
He's only permanent if he wants.
Please help me.
All right, let's wrap it up then.
All right, say your name.
I did. I said Jaxon. And I said a new face, and then I took off my glasses. It was a whole thing, and you just ignored it.
Hey, thanks for watching.
Later. Get out of here.
Sugoi! Much sense. Get over here. Congratulations. Hasta la bye bye. Hasta la bye bye.
Why don't you just shoot the cameras back instead? Obviously, Eric.
just have 3 individual cameras.
Obviously, Eric wants to sit.
I mean, for each individual person.
That'd be hard when we're talking to cut to each person if we're talking
He
over
live
each
cuts it.
That's not the middle one.
Yeah, but if we're talking over each other.
This is the middle shot.
Oh, okay.
This one gets all 3. This one gets you.
I was
2.
talking about
So this one, George.